I think my car has a vacuum leak and today I'm gonna try to fix it. So what makes me think that I have a vacuum leak? Well, for as long as I've owned this car, I feel like it has been underperforming, it has been consuming too much gas, and it's also been idling pretty rough. It would sometimes idle unevenly, and it would even rev as high as 2000 RPMs when on a standstill with no foot on the gas. So today I'm gonna try to figure out if I have a vacuum leak and see if I can fix it. But I wouldn't want to get these clothes dirty, so... This is the M103 engine. It's a 3-liter inline-6 which was offered in North America up until 1992. These engines produce 177 horsepower in North America and I believe around 188 in Europe because North America sucks. Now, just like many other cars from this generation, this car uses the KE Jetronic Bosch fuel system, which is hidden underneath this airbox. So let's just take it off real quick. Now, usually this would be held on by a couple of bolts, but when you factor in 37 years of old plastic, this is what happens. You just pull it right off. I just need another airbox. And with the airbox out of the way, this is what we uncover. So it might look very complicated at first, and that's only because it is very complicated. And if you guys would like me to drop a video explaining what everything here does, let me know and I might do that as a future video. How do you know if you have a vacuum leak? Well, there are many ways to check. You can either hear it if it's bad enough. You can also sometimes spray some carb cleaner on the cold side of the engine, making sure not to get it on the hot side. Otherwise, you're gonna have a fire. If you do have a vacuum leak, what's gonna end up happening is your RPMs are gonna fluctuate. Now, this method doesn't work great when you have a small leak. One small leak might be okay, but when you have many small leaks, those add up and end up having the same impact as a big leak. So how do you find those? Well, this is where a smoke machine comes in. And this is my smoke machine. I got it from Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description for where you guys can get it. What this does is it basically burns an oil. I'm gonna be using baby oil. It turns it into a smoke and then it pumps it into the engine. And if you see any smoke coming out of the engine compartment, that means you have a vacuum leak. It's pretty simple, and let's test it out. First, I do recommend that you remove the battery just for safety reasons. Now, when you're testing for a vacuum leak, you're gonna want to block off all the areas where the smoke might come out. So I'm just gonna use this glove. You're also gonna want to secure it in place with a rubber band of some sorts because this will build up pressure eventually, because you will want to find the smaller leaks and you're gonna want to build up pressure to find those. I've just set it up. Basically, all you do is you put this hose inside, you tighten this right here, connect this cable. I always go positive first, just so I don't complete the circuit. Now when I connect the negative, turn this on. Now you see that there's a light showing that there is power. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open this. I'll turn it back off for now. And I'm just gonna put around 30 milliliters of baby oil. Close this off. Now we want to find a spot so that we can put the smoke into. What I'm going to use is this line which goes from the intake manifold to the brake booster. I'm just going to disconnect it from right here. I believe it's a 19 mil. Yes, it's a 19 mil. Loosen it and be careful not to break anything because you wouldn't want to smash your brake fluid reservoir. Is there smoke? Confirm. Yes, there is smoke. Hold the rubber down. Look for smoke. Oh. I can hear. I actually hear. Oh wow, there's a lot of smoke coming out of these injectors. Especially this one, damn. That's a lot of smoke. That's a lot of smoke there, so that's... I believe that's 3 out of the 6 injectors which are leaking. That one seems like a lot, honestly. Like I can straight up hear that one. Uh-oh. Ah, okay, that's enough. Whew. Okay, that's a lot of smoke. As you guys saw, it seemed like the outer 2 as well as the middle injectors seem to be leaking a lot. Look at that oil. Okay, well, we're done with this, so I'm just gonna oops, I should have probably removed the positive first. I should have turned this off. Okay, guys, I might not be the best teacher, but it's okay because we're both learning together. Okay, so now that we're done vacuum testing it, all we need to do is just line this up and carefully thread it back in without cross-threading it. So once you feel that it's tight, just give it like a nudge with your finger. I'd be careful not to over-tighten this. Okay, so this vacuum line goes from the airbox into the fuel pressure regulator. I'll be replacing this because I snapped this almost 2 years ago accidentally, and I just taped it and I finally have a replacement part. You can buy this in the meter. I'll leave a link in the description. Roughly cut it to size, and I put a bit of oil over here just so I can make it a bit easier to install. But yeah, I just quickly replaced this piece and now I'm gonna reinstall everything. Well, actually, just because I touched some of the fuel lines, I'm just gonna turn the car on real quick just to make sure that nothing is leaking here. Sometimes idle unevenly, as high as 2,000 RPMs when on a standstill with no foot on the gas.
Hopefully this fixes the issue.
Well, now we have an idea of what's going on. During the winter, the car might run worse because as the weather gets colder, the plastic shrinks. This means that the seal wouldn't be seated as well as it should. That could also explain the uneven idle because there's unmetered air going into the system, which could cause the RPMs to fluctuate up and down. Now, it's very important that before you replace anything, a lot of people might just go straight to replacing the ICV. If you have a vacuum leak, no matter how many parts you change, you will not be able to pinpoint the cause of your issue. Once your vacuum is good, that's when you can actually diagnose the remaining bits of your fuel system. I'm gonna continue putting everything back together, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video where hopefully I'll be replacing the fuel injectors. Bye bye.